Good evening. Welcome to Rivalz Racetrack. Clinton, Geoffrey, and Adam Ross here as always. Adam, how you doing this week, man?
Good. Do you ever take those clothes off? I try to bring some variety. I try to make my
Yeah,
hair look terrible one week and wear bad glasses, different shirts. You're the same. I picture you showering in those clothes.
it's funny you say that because I only probably wear them for the hour and 10 minutes we're on the show. Everything else is over. It's just I figure I might as well rep our own stuff instead of other people's stuff. If I look at my shelf there, it's DTD or Super Dirt Series, and some weeks we're not the best of friends with both those entities, so I probably won't be wearing them on the air. I just kid, obviously, but I would change it up for you next week, Adam.
Yeah, you should, because I'm a rugged maniac. I earned this shirt. It's
Oh,
very tight. Do you know why?
Do
It's
tell us
very
how you
tight
earned
because
the
the
shirt.
people who do these rugged maniac events are much thinner than I am. So their selection of t-shirts is very small when you get to the end.
They don't
I rock this
normally
thing.
they don't normally have competitors who are triple X fluffy, as Johnny Miller would say to me.
Exactly.
Every time Johnny
Exactly.
says he needs a sweater, he goes, "You know me, bro, triple X fluffy." I'm like, okay. Are we
I
gonna
was
jump into your conspiracy theory early, or do you want to hold that on for a little bit?
here. You know what? I want to do it early because I want to ask of our viewers. I sometimes complain when Connor comes in because he's difficult to deal with. Tonight, it's my lovely wife, Angie. The cord runs across the room about waist high for my wife, and her phone is just over this way, and she wants it badly. So now she's kicking up a fuss. Hold on, please. You can't swear. This is an internet show. This is a classy program. We're not even on yet. Little did she know. So, do you like how smoothly I handle the interruptions
Adam,
in my
how
life?
is it that your family just totally disrespects this show every week? They just don't give a shit.
No, they
It's
don't.
it's kind of
They,
rude. I'm gonna have to
we
call them
don't
out
live.
for it.
We don't live in a mansion like the Clinton Geoffrey
It's
household.
not that. It's just
It's a confined space.
Spencer and I, who both went to broadcasting school, when you do this, we're just like, oh my God, what are we doing here? Anyways,
So
continue.
you just celebrated 23 years with your beautiful wife Christine. I am just celebrating 23 years with my is it 23 years? 98. Yeah, 23 years with my beautiful wife Angie. For 23 years you have known my wife, Clint. Have you ever known her to wait for something or to not express vocally and loudly what she wants at a given time?
I thought you were going to say, have I ever known her to give a damn? No, no, I haven't. So,
No to all of the above. It's like a COVID pre-screening. No. Select no to all. So, back on topic, the conspiracy theory. I want our viewers to do something for me because I know our viewers know Greg Calman very, very well. And it has recently come to my attention that a lot of things that Greg Calman talks about or has done also appear on the infamous Weber Valley Speedway promotions, postings. I'm starting to believe that Greg Calman is the mystery behind Weber Valley Speedway.
wow.
That's my
And you have,
conspiracy.
I assume if you're going to bring this to the Court of Public Appeal, you've got some evidence to back up your allegations, right?
Well, beyond his grammar, you mean? He's a
Okay,
great
yeah.
artist, but he can't spell. I don't know if
Okay.
people knew this about Greg. He's borderline illiterate.
I don't know if he's Weber Valley Speedway illiterate, though. That's
Some
a
of
whole
that
new
you
level.
okay, how about this? And this is undeniable. So I want people to chime in on how they think Greg is or is not Weber Valley Speedway because you and I both know he works 20 hours a day. There's no freaking way you can draw pictures 20 hours a day. I don't know what it is he does for a living, but there's a lot. He's a great artist, but how long can you do that for?
He's doing paperwork.
Oh, Jesus. Have you ever known Have you ever in your life heard of a race car driver with the nickname Daddy's Money?
I
This
have.
is it. This is
I kind of know him since he was born. That kid, Daddy's Money. We
you
watched his
do.
career get started.
That's right. Online last winter on iRacing, he was given the moniker. Connor Ross was named Daddy's Money
2 years
by
ago.
none other than, is it 2 years? By none other than Greg Calman. Would you agree with that? I didn't give him the name.
Discovery. I will agree with that.
It's indisputable. Next week we'll air some of it because it came up quite a bit.
Now, hold on,
Spencer,
Adam. Just let the prosecution pause here. The judge has to get in the middle. I wonder if the defendant might be watching and wants to partake in this type of discussion. So if the defendant, Mr. Callan, is watching or somebody knows Greg, feel free to get him on.
And I tried to get him on.
Just as we tried to get him in. Okay.
I tried to get him on, and he said no. He says, but I am desperate, so I may be watching. I need some entertainment. I said, you better be watching. I said, because I'm coming at you.
Rob Twitch adds to the theory and says the Calman family has a history of promoting fake tracks. McLean used to be the promoter of Brantford Motor Speedway. So we're getting somewhere.
This is happening. Spencer, do you have Exhibit A? In fact, we can call it Exhibit O for Exhibit Only. The only piece I need. In fact, he's got Rob Twitchett's number. Gage Martinez, also known as, if you look in the green circle, Daddy's Money. We have only twice have we ever heard this nickname. So someone proved me wrong. Greg Calman is Weber Valley Speedway. Gage Martinez is his alter ego. So folks, why else would Gage Martinez have that flowing crop of hair? Because a bald guy created him. Listen, it all adds up. This is where we're at.
Now I think we need to zoom in on we have to drill down to the sponsors and I think we need to open up a full investigation on Weber Valley Speedway and
this is what we're
find
doing.
out.
So folks, if you're watching, it's time for everyone to play home detective. I want you to dig. That is a nicely designed race car.
Hey, he's taking a dig now. He's taking a dig at our producer, Spencer, who's also his producer, because it's a Tesla.
I'm telling you, it all adds up.
The evidence is mounting.
And that car is not tacky in design. Spencer, show it again. This is a classy design. This is someone with some artistry. That's not what...
That's what I was going to say. Who could Photoshop this in? Would have to be someone well-versed in this type of racing illustrations.
Who could Photoshop all the pictures of Gage Martinez? To the point where you're not sure if they're real and you're not sure if they're fake. I couldn't do it because I'm a hack. Greg Calman could do it. I'm not even going to go there. That's too personal. I'm not going to go there.
Oh, go there.
Someone who has been under a little bit of stress because his business is going so well. He's so busy. He can't keep up. Nobody could keep up if you're spending 10 hours a day photoshopping Gage Martinez onto shit and not focusing on the stuff that pays your bills. Greg Calman, come out, step forward, and own it.
Oh, this is awesome. I love it because I am not in the firing range today.
So,
I love it.
Folks, share it at your will, discuss it, talk amongst your friends, bring the comments back here. We're going to revisit this next week. And then after that, Clinton, I'm away for a couple of weeks. We're actually going to shut down for an extended holiday break. And I think that's when deliberations could take place. I'll keep working on arguments.
Oh, well, I think you guys should get motivated to go out and investigate Weber Valley Speedway here on Facebook and get to the bottom of who it is and see if we can dig up any more similarities or conspiracy theories, if you will. Yeah. We got Daddy's Money, we got a Tesla, we got Twitchett's number. There's lots of things.
He's a dirt track.
Photoshopability. You know,
He's a dirt track snob. We all know Greg Calman is a dirt track snob and only comes to the asphalt races because we make him. Weaver
that's
Valley is a
true.
dirt track. I mean, it is just piling on and piling. His dad is a photographer. What do you need if you're going to be a Photoshop pirate? You need someone to take pictures.
I'll give you credit, Adam. You came prepared today. Greg's
I
got some defending to do here.
So, I mean, I think we can really run with this. I challenge you. I invite you. Have at it with the
Calman,
real
bring it
Greg
next
Calman.
week. Yes, I like it.
What do you want to talk about, Clint? I feel good about that. Like, I feel as though I have contributed. I've brought my piece.
You know, you pissed me off to start the show, but you totally redeemed yourself with that 3-minute rant. I'm on board.
I know. I think I pissed you off before the show because I've been laying down for the last 2 hours trying to work off a headache, stiff neck, something going on while you're piecing together the show. But I really appreciate you leaving the conspiracy thing because quite often I contribute little bits to our chat throughout the week and they get forgotten because on show day I am not actively involved like you are. So I appreciate that you remembered me and I got put in.
I will say it this way. I don't mean to leave your stuff aside, but as a bit of inside business, when you drop something, if it's not obvious, mention what it is, like our topic deal, and it will work out, and I'll make sure we always have it going.
No,
The problem is, I don't know what we're leading into with the story. So, all good. Open trailer bonus. Adam, in today's day and age, where everything's an enclosed box being brought to the races, you have often been a proponent of saying we need to get back to open trailers. The best advertising we had for racetracks in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and mostly through the 80s was open trailers. We've gone away from that. Here's a race that has gone on, and it's going to be happening at the dirt track in Vegas. Open trailer bonus, the highest finishing car in the feature of each division on the final 8 of the Las Vegas Dirt Nationals and the Texas Tune-Up and the Working Man Nationals will get paid double if you rolled into town on an open trailer. All classes, open trailers. I like it.
For
what do
the
you think?
win. You know what I love?
You know what? Since we had a boomer, I gotta stop you there. Since we had a boomer moment last week, not knowing what tap-in was, I thought FTW was something different, so I didn't say for the win.
That's awesome. I love it because so there's a couple of things. It is self-serving. There's a number of things. One, it's self-serving for the racetrack because it gives them promotion, right? The value of those cars showing up in an open trailer. Two, it's a race promoter being creative, and that is one thing that I think had been lacking for a long time was creativity and how to draw people in, how to make something out of nothing. Clinton, you and I talked about it on the phone today about wanting to make practice a big deal for an event next year, right? Because it's not usually done. Why don't we do it? So I give them kudos for being exciting there. But last but not least, the winner makes more money than the last place finisher. So if you're going to get $50 for last place, you turned your $50 into $100. But if a race there pays $1,000 to win, you just added $1,000 to your payday by showing up in an open trailer. So I love that part of the promotion, that it could be an expensive reward.
I love the idea. I mean, I'm with you. We talked when we were kids. We used to just sit at the pit gate and watch all the cars roll in. Now you could sit there and not know. Even we don't know who's in half the trailers, and we know all these guys. If I can see who's driving, I might have an idea who's going to be getting behind the wheel or what race car will roll out of the box. But yeah, I'm open with it. I mean, just personally, my brother Mike. I mean, I remember one year he was the only guy in the Nationals who qualified on an open trailer. Everybody else was big stackers, you know. So interesting to see. Good way to get them excited, as Twitch it says. No kid gets excited seeing a boring box rolling down the road.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you something else that's interesting, because there is a generation of people who come to Flamborough Speedway and don't realize that when you drive in the pit gate along the back straightaway, there are a few old pads there, right? Pads that have been there a long, long time, concrete pads that people pit on. The backstretch of the racetrack really hasn't moved even through that rebuild. So there was a generation where the biggest names at that speedway, the Don Biederman, the Junior Hanley, the Pete Shepard, they were able to park their truck and trailer between the pad and the wall. That's how short tow vehicles were. John Casale's added 100 feet behind the pit building. So if you try to picture what it used to be like to go into the racetrack, everything was so much more confined because people didn't need, 80 feet of length to park their truck and their trailer and set up their pit for the night. So if you can imagine, all the heavy hitters were right there on the right-hand side as you drive in along the back straightaway, and they had plenty of room to park their haulers.
Yeah, something we're facing our weekend. Did a walkthrough with Glenn there on Thursday, and man, big things going on there. I'll get you some pictures when I'm up there this week. And same type of thing. We are trying to figure out how do we align all these new pit stalls to accommodate these oversized trailers out, and we happen to move actually the one middle road rush weekend because the haulers have gotten so big that the layout we had 25 years ago doesn't work for today's situation. So you already see some big things there. Talking about a lot of concrete new pads while I'm on this topic. At the very back row of the pits, where it was kind of wet and swampy, Glenn's building a 300 by 80 foot barn. I'm excited about this, Adam. It's going to be an equipment barn for the winter to keep the water truck, grader, and stuff like that out of the elements. But in the summertime at our big events, it'll be a great indoor building we can use for parties and drivers' meetings and such. So
yeah,
exciting to see
okay,
that
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, Clinton. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. When, with all this building that's going on, when is a roof going to be installed over top of the warm-up track, the go-kart track, so we can run 12 months a year? How close are we to making that a race? Like, there's so much building going on, for crying out loud. Cover it. Let's go racing.
5 years? Is that a good enough answer for you?
I mean, yeah, 5 years.
We talked about it. So I made this pitch to Glenn 5 years ago when everybody was Chili Bowl crazy around here. You had Turner, you had Holly, you had Dylan, you had Glenn, you had all these Mac. Everybody was going to the Chili Bowl. Hills guys. What I said to Glenn is, look, you own a bunch of midgets. We could run midgets in the winter. You could run mod lights in the winter. You could run go-karts and our micros all year round. It could be amazing. So I think we're getting closer to it. To answer your question, obviously it's still way out there. But no, I think people are going to be surprised. Even the go-karts, we just built that trailer with all the new deck and wood before COVID. Well, Glenn tore all that out. It's going to be a nice concrete building, bathrooms and concessions right at the go-kart track. It's just going to be awesome. So excited to see that go. Moving on from there, let's talk about APC. Adam, some news coming down. They threw out a leaked picture today. Kind of their media crew is great at this. I love it. Yeah, you know where we're going this, Adam? Reading between the dots. Did you catch on what it was saying? Did you read any of the comments today?
As sad as this is, Clint, I've worked in sales for 10 years, longer really, and I had a lot of time on my hands for all of those years, and I did all right. I work in sales now, and I am busy from 6:30 in the morning until, it depends on the day, but 5:30 at night, like busy, can't even look at things that I used to spend. Like, I'm so far behind on Candy Crush on Facebook, it's ridiculous. Like, it's embarrassing to someone of my Candy Crushing caliber how far I've fallen behind there, but it's because priorities, so.
That was the longest no to have you seen it that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I missed it. It was like, what was me? Feel sorry for me. So
let's try it again. Adam, did you see this APC leaked picture that came out today?
I missed it. What happens when you connect the dots?
You figured out. This is actually perfect. I'm so glad you didn't see it. So maybe I shouldn't say it because the internet said it, and I am privileged to see the information.
It would be
the
an
internet
ugly
picked this out
track.
right away.
Oh.
Did you say you picked it out, Spencer?
Well, wait a second. So Delaware. Okay, yeah, Sauble would be Sauble, Delaware, Flamborough. What the hell is that?
Yeah,
Sunset.
The what the hell is that is the one that's got everybody talking today. And it hasn't been officially released, but the internet released it today. So Luke kind of chimed in. I don't want to jump in it too bad. I can't release it. But if you can figure it out, Adam, like the internet did, go for it. What do you think that far out there dot is?
It's got to be a track in Peterborough. Now, was Kawartha still pavement, or did we show that being with the pavement pulled up last week?
It was still pavement.
It's got to be either Kawartha or Peterborough. I don't think it'd be Moseport. Like, I've heard rumblings of people that I don't think are that in the know talking about road racing, but Moseport's closer to the lake. I don't think Moseport's that far north.
Well, Luke said lots of big news coming in the coming weeks. We'll let the internet speculate at what they think it is. I think you're on the right path, Adam, but I thought it was neat. Show the picture one more time, Spencer.
Whether it's Peterborough or Kawartha, I think that's a long way north. I think that's phenomenal. You know, it's a great market. Gives some variety.
But what do you think about the picture? Just the way they rolled it out with the dots, a little cryptic. I like it. I thought it was a neat way to pull it out there today.
Again, that's creative. You build a buzz. It is so hard, Clinton. It doesn't sound hard, but it is hard to build a buzz. And to do that, you have to throw something out there that's not blatantly obvious. You've got to make something that has talking points. I think that definitely does that. So hats off to the crew up there.
Yeah, Twitch, it's not bright, and I can confirm that. I definitely know that.
They could just
let's talk about.
They could cancel it for rain right now.
If you're going to be there, Rick Spencer Walt announced he was going to go APC racing. Adam, this is a story you shared right before we went on the air today. Your thoughts and why you threw that one in there.
Well, the reason I did, how much did we talk about McCall Racing last week? Because we're looking at, so Rick Spencer Walt makes an announcement that he's stepping up his program to go full-time racing with APC at the same time as Trayton Lapsevich and Brandon Watson going south to go racing in white motorsport cars. I believe they're both white motor, unless I'm completely off the rails here. So it leaves a bit of a, Mike McCall is going to have a big presence. You know that. So is that where Rick Spencer Walt is headed? What's the landscape going to look like next year? And how big an opportunity is that? If there is opportunity available at McCall Racing, he always puts out fast race cars.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the APC series grow even in our 2 years hanging around it. I think we are close to announcing a deal that we'll be back with all the races again, and that's the plan and the ultimate goal from both us and the APC side. And excited to try and make that work again. From the schedule side, which we're deep in the schedule chess, oh my goodness, on the sprint car world, that's a whole other topic we could go into. Maybe next week we'll talk about the landscape of where we are with Knights of Thunder, Oshweekend 360s, Action Sprint Tour, the OTS, the SOS. There's lots of storylines there, and obviously I'm deeply in the middle of it, so we can I'll give you my Coles Notes version of it for another week. But, it's been great to see this go. I think you're going to see us put together a great schedule where even us, our core broadcast crew, is trying to avoid all conflicts and just put together a great, solid schedule where we can get out and have the fun we've had the last couple of years.
For sure.
Lots more stuff to come down about APC. Luke said in the next 2 weeks we're going to have a lot more news, so we'll follow those, of course, as they come through. Andy J, go ahead.
Just before I forget, is Brad Evans in the rundown here?
No.
Okay, remind me then as we get later in the show to tell that story about Brad Evans, because I think it's worth telling.
Okay. Spencer, add that to the rundown if you can so we don't forget it. Andy J, Real Racer of the Year. He's one of the other guys who we've had some run-ins with here on the show. Andy Jankowiak has been with us twice on the program in the past. Went down and ran a lot of ARCA stuff this year, ran very well. And just cool to see him be named the Ken Schrader Real Racer of the Year. Show the picture there, Spencer. And it's pretty good to see Andy J, just a real racer, making it happen in multiple disciplines, multiple classes, and just a hardworking dude, man. If you're not,
he lives it. He lives, and I don't think, there's people over the course of time that just live this sport, and he is one of them. He is a throwback. And thank goodness for people like him, and there's not very many people like him.
Fran has a good question for us, Adam. Will GeForce TV cut back with Ashweekend's reopening?
We'll cut back on our Friday night offerings that don't start with an O.
Yeah, so obviously Ashweekend will be our main focus on Friday nights, but that's exciting too that we'll be bringing you live sprint car racing along with mini stocks and street stocks and a few other classes thrown in throughout the season. So we've got 20 nights planned at Ashweekend Live. We're working on a deal, as we mentioned, to be providing the APC series again. We'll also be out on with the Knights of Thunder and a couple of action sprint tour races. So I think you'll see us maybe scale back a couple of the outside races, but it's not going to be noticeable, and I think our total numbers will be higher than they've ever been, if not right where they've been for the last couple of seasons. So, watch.
It doesn't look like that grand total of shows is going to rise that much, like through the give and take, through the compromise, but.
So Spencer says 23 live we did last year. We're on pace to do 35 to 40 total. That's with Ashweekend going in. And how we're going to manage that, Adam, is a lot of people know we have our broadcast mobile center that we take around to all the tracks. Well, we will have a complete set of equipment at Ashweekend, so we're not basically packing up every Friday to take it home and, it's going to be set it and forget it type deal on Fridays. The mobile unit will be ready to go to the outside track. So
in a lot of ways, it's easier because we had to kill a lot of Fridays. Well, you had to kill a lot of Fridays because you had to go pick up the trailer anyhow. So Lisa will be going to the races, do that, hook up, take off. When I say we, I mean you.
Well, the idea is to try and I've been looking for a motorhome for a bit. If I could do that, then, the nights after our weekend when we got to go to Sauble or Sunset or Delaware the next day, I'll just basically drive all night because I'm up till 3 anyways. But hey, I'm pumped about it. I love the workload we had last year. I'm excited to keep doing it. It's going to be awesome. Moving on.
I thought the bags under my eyes were going to go away when the season ended because I gave up sleeping through the summer months, but the bags haven't gone away. I'm still kind of tired, but no, it was a lot of fun. It's so rewarding what has been done the last 2 seasons. Not by GeForce, forget about that, but by the whole racing community to stay together and keep putting on shows and keep getting to the racetrack. Everybody, there was so much give and take. Everybody had to compromise a little bit. People had to race for less. Just so many things had to go into the equation to get to the racetrack. It's been a fulfilling couple of seasons.
I'm super proud of the fact from the Knights of Thunder and the Action Sprint Tour that, Knights of Thunder pays actually got raised for the 360s, $2,000 to win, was awesome. And the crates actually got a raise. Neither of those divisions throughout the whole COVID situation ever took a pay cut. If anything, their pays got increased. So we're proud that we're able to make that happen for the guys. Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, Adam, this brings up a whole nother discussion. And when you're managing a track, as I do, you want things black and white. And I've come back to Mike Miller, our tech guy, and the joke between us is, what does the Bible say? And the Bible's our rule book. And we go back and if we can rule that somebody broke or didn't break, right? And that makes it easy to just stand up and say, hey, look, you're wrong because of this. Well, this ruled at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway, and Ransfield tried to put this out recently. Throw it up on the screen. Do you want to read it out loud, Adam?
The funny thing is, Clinton, yeah, I'll read it. The funny thing is, so in our chat, Clinton or I or Spencer will put something into the chat as a talking point for the following show. Recently, we've started doing it and not having any conversation at all. So I don't know what side of the fence you fall on this, and you don't know what side of the fence I fall. And it's made things a lot of fun. So, unsportsmanlike conduct or participating in any action or activity considered detrimental to Southern Ontario Motor Speedway at any event or on social media by drivers, owners, and or pit crews shall be grounds for disqualification and or punitive action by Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Any driver and or relation to driver that violates any technical rule as presented within the rulebook and or issued in a written bulletin will be subject to disqualification and or fine and or suspension and or loss of points and or any other action deemed appropriate by Southern Ontario Motor Speedway's management team. You will not be allowed entry into the track as a driver, pit crew, or fan if you have an outstanding fine. Any complaints or concern can be emailed to the competition director, Rob Young, at competitiondirector.soms@gmail.com.
Thoughts? You want me to tell you what I think?
I think that's a rule that needed not be written.
Bingo.
Yeah, I think some things should be a gentleman's agreement, and I think some things should be conversations. Once in a while, you want to point it out at a driver's meeting or in a release, not that much different than that release was written, and say, hey, this is unacceptable, and here's the action being taken. Clinton, what do we always say about rules? What do you always say about rules? Don't institute or implement a rule that you can't enforce or that you're not willing to enforce.
Yeah, to me, this is it opens up way too many cans of worms. Okay, so this is something that happens when your culture at your racetrack has gone way too far off the rails for too long. I mean, when I took over at Oshweekend, my main goal was to change the culture there because I seen all the other tracks getting tore up by racers versus the speedway. And we started bringing them in right away, and we started putting our arms around them and saying, hey, guys, we're a family, and let's work together, and we'll build great things together. And I think it comes down to even myself a little bit the way I've handled it and said, hey, guys, if someone slams us on the internet, I don't let it go. I message that guy right now and say, call me. What's the problem? Why are you just going out there and throwing this shit at us on the net when you can call me? You got my phone number. You got me on Messenger. And you know me, I'm available 24/7, except maybe 7:30 to 9 a.m. Okay, every other time of the hour, I'm available to chat. But I just think there's so many ways you can handle this by changing the culture. And I mean, it even comes down to when someone was leaving their pit stall mess every week, and I had a driver's meeting. Chris Dickey and all the street stock guys stood up and they said, no, this meeting ain't over until you tell us who it is, because we're going to fix it right now. And that's how you get everybody kind of sticking together in family, because they're like, this is our backyard too. And you can't be that way. So when it comes down to, if you're going to go slam the track, punitive damages, really, you're going to sue a driver because he said something about you on Facebook? Isn't that's what I take out of that? It can just be handled so many other ways.
Right. Nothing that's said there. I don't vehemently disagree with anything that's written there. I just think you don't necessarily need to write it into a rule book. But having said that, Clint, we do things in a strange way. Like, remember the Scott Kruder incident with Dylan Westbrook? There were some very vocal animosity towards the Speedway. And what did we do? We invited her on the show.
Yeah, and I would love to have Rob Young or any of the guys, Henry, come on the show. Man, we talk about Southern Ontario Motor Speedway so much. Reach out to us. Come on, be on the show. We'd love to have you on.
But
unfortunately,
be on the right.
Go ahead.
Work hard to be on the right side. It should be necessary viewing. If you want to be in the racetrack owning business or promoting business or manager or race director, watch Roadhouse, live Roadhouse. Dalton knows the way. But it's funny, but it's true. You're absolutely right.
Your poor kids. How many times growing up did you have to sit down and say, you got to watch Roadhouse? Because I've heard that so many times.
But I'm on my break. So, yeah. And the funny thing is, I want to go back to people trash talking things, because Clinton, when we bought Dirt Track Digest, it was really before social media. And the biggest complaint, and we would stand there and say, no, you're mistaken. People hide behind screen names. This is going to ruin the sport. No, it's not. Now that people don't hide behind screen names, they have their own very public Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. They are still assholes. It's not hiding behind a screen name. It's having that platform. An asshole is going to be an asshole. It's just how it is. Leopards don't change their spots. But that was like a little bit of a sidebar, a little bit of a tangent where people blamed forums for ruining the sport. No, creating a toxic culture and allowing it to escalate and go too far without stopping to watch Roadhouse and realize, be nice until it's time to not be nice. Patrick Swayze will tell us when.
Can we get stickers that say that? Patrick Swayze will tell us when. Dalton will tell us when it's time. Yeah, Adam, I think, you know, a lot of people are worried about SOMS right now, Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. I mean, they've broken off from the ODCC. They're really just kind of going rogue on their own. And, you know, it's sad to see because we had a great thing going with all 5 tracks working together. But Henry has his own mission, and, hey, all the best to him. I mean, if he can make it work and show us all a new way, then maybe we've got things to learn. Yeah.
And that's you're absolutely right. Like maybe something will happen and say, "Wow, we didn't see that coming."
He's got a beautiful place. He's got a crowd every week. He's got the crowd everybody else would kill for. So no, hey, all the best to him. Let's talk quickly. Brian's racing auction coming up, Adam. It is about 6 weeks away now, maybe 7.
Does that provide stress to you?
No, things will move along nicely.
I'm pleased. So the conversations that have been had are with some of the big players in our sport, in our business, and I think you're going to see a lot of stuff get announced, introduced to the auction over the next couple of weeks. Unfortunately, we can't say too much more than that. But if you're watching this show, they're people you know very well, and they're on their way to getting involved in this thing, and there's just a lot of details to be ironed out. I had sent you a message this week, Clinton, on something we hadn't announced just yet for the auction, but you didn't confirm or deny. So
it's all right. Let's hold it for next week. We'll get a nice list and a few pictures in and show everybody what some of the stuff that's come in is. Adam, here's another one you sent in. This will be our Burger Barn video of the week. This is the is it? Oh, man, it's a late model race, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, and I'll have to go back to it here. It is the Bill Bigley Memorial 128 you sent in. So we're going to watch the last 3 laps of this. Spencer picked it up at the 2-minute mark from the video sent in. Why did you pick this video as our Burger Barn video of the week, Adam?
I can't remember. let's watch it.
Going on, man, does he have a right side tire going down?
I believe he got in the wall off of turn number 2 that last time. Crazy there. Jesse DeTilly giving it everything he's got. He definitely got in the wall. The right side of that car is straightened out, but we have 3 laps to go, and he's still got a chance to win it. Good corner exit off turn 2. Oh, he gets a little loose. Sergi about a car length less than that now. Coming at 2 laps to go, Jason.
Here we go, down to the inside, digging hard. The Carbone Motorsports, Jesse DeTilly ride down to the inside, pushes Sergi up the track, side by side off of turn number 2, but Sergi has a good run off the turn. He gets into the wall, Anthony Sergi into the wall, Jesse DeTilly to the inside, wheel to wheel, door to door, white flag is out, down the front straightaway to turn 1, give it up.
$5,000, the difference between first and second. They're trading paint. They're going down the back straightaway into 3 and 4.
Paint is $5,000 on the line. First and second, checkered flag coming out to the
Sergi in a photo finish. My goodness.
Wow.
Bravo.
What I loved about that clip was how clean that race was. Right? Like how there's so much goes on in these race cars. It is so hard to do what those drivers were doing, like driving to 100% of their capacity, but not going over the line. We watch what goes on NBC and Fox, and you see even those drivers make mistakes out there. And here's a couple that are just giving it. I mean, that's what it's about.
I thought it was great too, Adam. You know, trading paint a little bit, not being reckless, leaning on each other just a little bit, but still trying to race clean. Man, how fun would our weekends be if they could all end like that on a Friday, Saturday night? That was awesome.
And that was not a wide racetrack.
No, that was a tight little bowl.
Yeah. Just so quite often, and I'll I'll be laying in bed half asleep and see something, say, hey, this would be good. I actually didn't think that was the one I sent in suggesting for Burger Barn video of the week, but I'll take your word for it. But I can't remember what it was that yeah, that's cool. No, it was a great battle. It was really good.
Trailer weights. This is something, Adam, way safe. This is something we'll be looking at a lot more in the spring, and we'll work with maybe our friends at Miska Trailers to figure out how we can get some information out on this. This was a video that was sent. Just demonstrates, Spencer. I don't know if we need to go through the whole thing, but it just shows how, depending on where you put the weights in your trailer, really are going to have a lot to do with how well that trailer tows.
Gusty wind.
So it's got the weight at the front of the trailer. It's pretty stable, but look at the back. Once you get the weight over those back axles, it's just a swinging.
That's a pretty neat demonstration. I could finally get use out of my treadmill if we did things like this with it.
But that is a cool demonstration that just shows a few feet forward or backward with your race car on the trailer are really going to change the way it sways and swings up and down that highway. So, I just thought that was a neat video that illustrates.
And there's weights in the trailers, air pressure in the tires on your tow vehicle and on the trailer. Put a little bit of effort into that, because nothing worse than seeing a race hauler stuck at the side of the road, because it's tough to help when you're at that point.
We had another video here that we were going to show you, but we'll hold on because it is CTV's video, and Spencer doesn't want us to get in trouble with copyright. So hopefully everybody down in the East caught this video this week. It was a good story about Gary Vandermeer from Brockville passing the flags on to his son. Always cool when you can keep it in the family. So that's we'll work on getting a little more on that story. We had a cool video for you, but we can't really show it because it's not ours. So congratulations to the Vandermeer family and everybody at Brockville getting a new flagger. He's been around for a while anyways. He'll just get the head flagger role now. Short Track Super Series, Adam, opened up today with some big news. If you follow Brett Dale and those guys, he shared a picture yesterday. It's shocking who you run into on vacation. It was Ryan Godown and Matt Shepard running into Brett Dale. They're all vacationing in the Florida Keys right now. But Dale posted today, big story. It'll be the Hallmark International Elite Series. And check out these payouts. Unbelievable money here. And I'm just going to pull it up. Short Track Super Series announces a 6-race deal. As the calendar flips to 2022, the Short Track Super Series will be elite program, 6 uber high-paying events for the big block, small block modifieds. Where are they here? Okay, so it's going to be Cherokee Motor Speedway in Gaffney, North Carolina is going to pay $25,000 to win for the Rebel 50. Georgetown Speedway for the Melva Joseph Memorial will be $25,000. Another $25,000 at Orange County Fair Speedway, $25,000 at Utica Rome, $50,000 at Fonda, and $50,000 at Port Royal. Pretty amazing amounts of money being paid out as the level of payouts just continue to grow for the big block, small block modifieds under Brett Dale's management. Pretty exciting, Adam.
We sing the praises of Brett Dale so often. I mean, hats off. The racers have to be thrilled about it, and that's serious money, man. He's doing amazing things, and if we had recordings, Clinton, of you and I way back when at Super Dirt Week talking about why do we still have modifieds and 358 modifieds, it doesn't make sense. Brett Dale is doing it now. It's a double-edged sword, right? Because there's obviously different tracks or different events would be better for a small block or for a big block or for different configurations. But fact of the matter is, modified's a modified. Lump them together, let them race, pay them well. A fan in the stands can't tell the difference.
Well, it's funny you say that, Adam. So we're in a unique position at Oshweekend now. Prior to COVID, Super Dirt Series called us. They booked a race with us. I didn't get a call from my buddy Dean anymore. So I don't know. I guess they maybe don't want to come across the border to Canada. I'm not sure. So that leaves us in the ballpark of what do we do? We've come up with a couple ideas, and maybe we'll hash it out here. So I got thinking, well, I understand if maybe the Short Track Super Series or the Super Dirt Car Series are concerned about crossing into Canada right now. Same reason the Outlaws don't want to come into Canada right now. And the short answer being, and the same reason why we don't want to take our tours to the States, if a bunch of your teams decide not to cross the border, and even before COVID, it was an issue with all your gear and all your tools and the manifest you need to bring a transport truck across. It wasn't worth it for one night to come either way. Now with COVID making things even more strained at the border, people have to jump through more hoops to get in. If 10 of your teams, or even 5 of your best, 5 of your top 12 decide to bail out and not go to those points races on the other side of the border, you've lost those teams for the rest of the year. They're out of the points now. They may come back, but there's a good chance they're going to go find other things. Or if it looks questionable, they're going to stay home instead of going because they have no reason to have their feet held to the fire. Do you think at our weekend we could have a big open modified race and just bring in some of the superstars and make it work? Could we hire Mahaney and Shepard and, all these big dogs to come in to mix in with our guys like, Matt Williamson and get Stuart Friesen and all these guys to come to our weekend for a one-night deal? What do you think about that?
And
we used to do it back in the day.
To
do that, right? You're going to have to work that out. But you have a big modified madness event where you pay a big purse of your own and have your own rules and just do it up. What do you think? Penetrator says yes. It may be the only option to get some of those stars up in the next year or so.
Yeah. Is that what you need to fill the grandstands? I mean, is that what is the drawing power?
Let me put it to you this way. Well, I'll tell you, there's a hell of a lot more drawing power than just having a regular modified race. Do you think a deal like that, if you paid 5 or 6 of the stars, say you could get Mahaney, Decker, Shepard, Matt Williamson, Friesen, and Jessica Zemkin to come. And the reason I say Jessica, because Stuart and Jessica both have big sprint car wins at Osh Weekend, and they're associated with the sprint car fans, even if they're not modified fans. Can you not say that would draw a bigger crowd than if we just had an open modified race on a Friday night? Of course it will.
Well, let me make myself a little unpopular here. Take out Stuart Friesen and Jessica Friesen, because I think they sell tickets. How many more tickets are you going to sell because Matt Shepard, Mike Mahaney, Larry White, and Justin Hares are coming to race at your track?
It's a good question. I think you're good for a few hundred.
And I love those guys and I respect those guys. But there was a time when the best racing you were going to see in Southern Ontario was when the small block tour came to town, because Brett Hearn was going to be there, T-Mac was going to be there, Danny Johnson, Alan Johnson, Steve Payne, Pete Bicknell. You were going to get all that. And then they stopped traveling, so then you had to bring the big block stars. But at that time, you were getting the cream of the crop, and there was a real demand to see those drivers. Like they were stars, and people revered them as such. I don't know that the formula is the same. I don't know that you fill the grandstands with a modified show at Ush Weekend Speedway. And Clint, I love modifieds. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just trying to put myself in that position and think, is the juice worth the squeeze? Meanwhile, put on a big modified race and pay $1,000 to start, right? Like maybe invest some of that money through the field and see how many Quebec drivers you can get to tow down the highway. Put 40 cars in the show, 40 cars in the pits rather, and promote homegrown talent. If you're not going to pay $25,000 to win US, you're not going to impress Matt Shepard.
Well, you'd obviously have to pay them to come up. It'd be an appearance fee.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
But you know what I mean? Like if they got all those races for big money.
Like it comes down to like when Rico Abreu wanted to come and race with us, right? We already had our show set. We talked about what his rate was going to be. And then I had to basically do that math. Okay, X number of dollars divided by ticket sales. I need X number of more people to show up. In fact, I won't do the numbers, but let's just have it for shits and giggles here. If we did it. So when I did my math, I needed 187 people to come to make that investment worth. Now, did I think Rico Aber was going to draw 200 more people all day long? So we went with it. Now, it's not going to draw he may not draw 1,000 more on that name alone, but I knew we would, as you say, the juice would be worth the squeeze on that one. So it's just a thought, because I don't think we're going to get Super Dirt Series. You're not going to see the Short Track Super Series. I think they would be foolish, as much as we want them, to agree to come across the border in the climate it's in right now. I mean, as a promoter, I would not do it myself. So,
and how much do we have to offer? I mean, modified racing is still a little precarious. In the heyday, Dirt Series events used to start 30 cars. How many modifieds are showing up to Merrittville on a Saturday night?
I didn't go enough. If I had to guess, 18 to 22 on a good night. Probably hasn't been 24 in a long time. But here's the dilemma I'm facing, Adam. I would not even consider the modifieds. I mean, me with my Oshweekend promoter hat on, I don't want them. I'm being a prick now, but we tried them for years. We got 14 cars on our Outlaw show when we were paying triple what Merrittville did on a regular night, and the guys didn't show it. So, but my boss bought one and working on another, so I'm going to have modified shows. So how do we make them a success and pack the grandstands? That's the question. And that's why I love this show, because normally you and I would talk about this over bullshit at lunch, but, I mean, our viewers are our buddies, so we want their opinion. And, of course, Steve Shaw would rather see 60 street stocks than a modifies. And I'm sure Shrek Ballard would rather see 100 lawnmower tractors than the modifieds. But let's get real what the discussion's really about.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's have some fun here.
It's great conversation, right? Like, and that's the fun part about this, is we don't have to pay too much lip service to anybody. Which we've been around long enough that we've kind of earned that lip service, as my dog is trying to eat me.
But don't make a mistake about it. If we come up with a good deal and a good plan, we can enact it through this show. It can be like Applefest that came out of DTD's forum. If it works out and it's a good idea, you can bet damn well we're going to make it happen. All right. Liquid tire chain. And this is for real, Adam. This was a deal that came on, I believe it was a Chevy back in the day. Of course, I got to go back to my notes here. Show it, Spencer. So it was a rare feature in a 1969 Chevrolet option called Liquid Tire Chain, available on UPC code V75. Around 2,600 Chevrolets were ordered with this one-year only option. A control on the instrument panel activated a pair of aerosol canisters mounted above the rear tires that contained a chemical compound called liquid cancer, probably. No, liquid tire chain traction improver. Inside the canisters was a space-age polymer ready to coat the rear tires and turn slip into grip. Press the button and an evaporating solvent left the traction improving chemical compound on the tires that resulted in instant winter traction even on ice. How about that?
Need some more of that cancer juice.
It looked like a Mad Magazine drawing or something. You know, that's when I first saw it. I'm like, what? What's the stuff we do find at 3 a.m? Adam, I'll let you turn it over to you to take us home here. Brad Ovens is our last topic on the board. I know our friends at Coast Coast Racing League had a memorial racing event for Stu and Brad, our brothers in arms who we lost here in the past couple weeks. You wanted to make sure we had something to say about Brad at the end of this one. So what is it?
So it was a story that I had shared. So Stephen Ovens has been uncovering different stories from the races, and I've got such a soft spot for people who do the right things for the right reasons. And people who pay it forward and do generous things when they don't really need to, but it's just in their nature. Brad Ovens was passionate about what he was doing, about the film side, the video side of motorsports. And I can't remember which Guerreri it was, but I want to say it might have been Frank, whose son had a drone. Son was getting excited to fly this drone and do things with it, and it stopped working. So Brad reached out, and I forget how this goes. I'm sort of paraphrasing, but Brad says, look, if there's anything I can do, I'll do it. Leave the drone with me. I'll get the thing flying. and the drone was left with Brad, and he worked on it and worked on it. And come race day, he asked, I want to say it was Frank Guerreri, but I'm not positive. Hey, you going to be at the racetrack? Yep, good. This drone will be at the pit gate for you. So later that night, Brad gets a message from a surprised Frank Guerreri. He said, that's not the drone we left you. That is a brand new drone. And Brad says, yeah, I couldn't get that one to fly, but I wasn't going to leave your boy disappointed. He wants to fly a drone. He's going to get to fly a drone. And whether Brad went out and bought that, which I think is what happened, went to the store and bought one, or found one brand new in the box and gave it to Frank Guerreri's son so he could keep his passion for what he was doing. And what a phenomenal pay it forward story, because Brad Evans was not a wealthy individual. I think he worked hard for his money, and to do something like that left a huge impression on the Guerreri family. And it was just such a nice thing. And it's one of those things that had Brad not passed away, that story would get, a few people might see that story and never hear about it. And it's one of those things that obviously he didn't promote it, because the first time we're hearing this story is now after he's gone. But what a beautiful thing that he did, and what a role model for people who want to do that, Clinton.
Yeah, shame is you don't hear all these great stories until they pass. And Brad was one of the good guys, and lots of good stuff came out about his dad too. All we told Steven is just hug that baby Keegan and tell him all the great stories about his uncles and his grandpa. As we leave you here on the program, we started off with Conspiracy Exhibit 0. We have a couple more exhibits, Adam, to leave our investigative crew with to go after this Weber Valley and dig down to it. Let's take a quick look at these. Okay, so exhibit, let's call it 1A. Greg Calman, no rain at Brantford Motor Speedway. Maybe we can get Brian Baumler to stop by. So he's already trying to like quantify the existence here with Rob Twitchett and Canadian, home improvement superstar Brian Baumler. So that's exhibit 1 of Greg promoting a fake speedway. See the next one, Spencer. So this is McLean, an up-and-coming announcer at Brantford Motor Speedway. This was their first fictional run at the same speedway. There it is.
I'd like to see Gage Martinez's face superimposed onto McLean. There would be the funniest thing ever. But
we got 2 more exhibits.
Wow. The facts are adding up. It's not looking good for Greg.
So I shouldn't probably say anything bad about McLean because he's a good little teenager. But, did McLean ever actually meet Tony Stewart, or is that just another Photoshop? Right?
Yes.
They're not friends.
Could be.
McLean's in front of Greg. Obviously, put his son in front of Tony. Look, it's clearly a Photoshop. Okay, and the last exhibit, more fake race cars by Calman Jr.
It runs in the
says
family.
It all. It says it all.
I think it does. I mean, you're welcome to form your own opinions. This is not over, Greg Calman. We are not done.
Should be interesting. Anyways, thanks, Spencer, for all you do. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. We appreciate our growing audience. Looks like the numbers continue to get bigger every week. Feel free to share what we do. We try to be your Tuesday night hangout for racing fun. We got a week or two before we lose Adam for Christmas. Woohoo! That was my vacation, or my Christmas gift is Adam goes on vacation, and we don't have to fight for a couple of days. Anyways,
we didn't disagree today. On tonight on the show on anything, which is kind of disappointing.
Do you know what the message is there?
Well,
this is what happens when we don't talk for 7 days.
That's true.
Our last meeting was like last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Life is busy. You've been getting up in the morning and doing work-like things, which is not like you.
I know.
So, I mean,
even
the universe has been...
Steve Lyons laughed at me today. I said, I'll be up at 7:45. And he said, I'll test you when he called me this morning. Like, hi, Steve. How's it going? All right. He's like, no way. Are you up? I'm like, buddy, I've already been to Home Depot and I'm on my way to the rental house. So it's all good. Let's call it a show. Thanks so much, Spence, for everything you do. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We had a good night. Good fun. No, we're not really getting 2 Christmases. We're still getting along. Anyways, thanks everybody. See you guys. See you, Decker. See you guys next Tuesday.
Say goodbye, Decker. See you guys.